5,000 years is the blink of an eye. Well, I know what an eye blink is. Okay, so you probably can get the idea just by looking at it. But let's go through the process. Okay, we have discovered it. Next, what do we do? Probably the biggest issue around learning English idioms is memorizing them and then not knowing how to use them. What's the point of that? I don't know. What is the point of that? So before you learn them, you need to know how to learn them, right? This is something that I cover in my courses about idioms, which you're welcome to check out. But really, I want to go over the essential process, because once you have the process, you can apply it to any idiom. And in fact, you can use this for vocabulary as well, but we're really focusing on idioms here, okay? All right, so I think the steps are pretty simple, okay? Number one, you find your idiom or your expression in context, okay? What does that mean? That means that you don't just generally, if you're learning, you're just sort of out there, you don't just learn randomly a giant list of idioms, okay? What you should probably do, or the most effective thing you can do, is to pick them up from your daily life, okay? Why? Why would you want to do that? Well, because then it's actually connected to you. It's linked to your life. And so there's a kind of built-in context there that will help you remember how to use it. So if it's for work, if it's reading an article or watching a video somewhere, or a movie or a TV show, you said, what's that? And you didn't plan to find it, but there it is. You found it. Write that down, okay? That's how you find it, instead of going to a random list. Make sure you're always finding them in that context, because then I know how it was used. It's used to say this kind of thing in this TV show. Or it was used by my colleague at work to express this kind of idea, right? Okay, so that's an advantage for you to understand the usage. Again, we don't want to just know what it means. If you know what an idiom means, that's kind of pointless. You need to know what it means and how to use it. And as I mentioned, I'm going to be going over a challenge for you toward the end of this. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so once you've got that, you're going to then go to a dictionary or a place that allows you to look it up. Now, I recommend, I'm not even sponsored by the free dictionary. I should reach out to them at some point, because they should sponsor me, because I talk about them all the time. It's a great dictionary, and besides that, it has a thing that many dictionaries do not have, which is idioms. That's right, idioms and phrasal verbs, and pretty rich as well. We're going to look at an example in just a second. So the freedictionary.com is a great place to look these up. Okay, then you review the different meanings of an idiom. Some idioms, some expressions, some phrases have more than one meaning. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 might be a little bit much. Some phrasal verbs have 6, but most idioms will have 1 or 2, maybe 3 meanings. Make sure you understand all of them, and don't just look at the meanings. Make sure you look at the example sentences so that you can see how it is used in each of those. And that's another great thing about the free dictionary. A lot of dictionaries have these bizarre, strangely worded, very unnatural uses of idioms and words, and you have to look up 5 words in the definition and the examples just to understand what the original thing is. So I think the free dictionary ones are pretty natural. That one and vocabulary.com is also pretty good. But I don't think vocabulary.com has idioms. That's the thing. Okay? Once you feel that you've got it, by looking at the different examples, make your own examples, right? And find a way to memorize it that is going to link it back to where you saw it. Find a way to remember it that's going to connect it to that original context, the TV show where you discovered it, the movie where you found it, the situation at work where you heard it, or the email that you got that had that. Link it back to that. Find a memorization technique that works for you. Memory palace, repetition, using your imagination. There are a lot of different ways to do it, but make sure it sticks, not just the meaning, but also the usage. Okay? So let's try this. Here's an example sentence that I pulled from the internet. I'm going to read it out for you. Humans have only been around for 300,000 years, and the oldest living language, Tamil, is 5,000 years old. The blink of an eye on a nuclear timescale. Okay, so we're learning the blink of an eye. Now, it's a relatively easy one, so not too complicated here. You may already know what it means. Again, we're focusing more on the process here rather than specifically learning. I'm trying deliberately to teach you something relatively simple. Okay, so now you might be able to just look at this and guess the meaning based on what you see here. From the context, I can intuit, I can guess what it probably means. Hey, if that works for you, I think that that's the first thing you should try, right? See if you can just guess it. And I think you might be able to here. So we have a 300,000 years for humans and 5,000 years. The blink of an eye on a nuclear time scale. Okay, so we're talking about a very long time scale. 5,000 years is the blink of an eye. Well, I know what an eye blink is. Okay, so you probably can get the idea just by looking at it. But let's go through the process. Okay, we have discovered it. Next, what do? We hop over to our dictionary or wherever. I'm not forcing you to do it on the free dictionary, but this is my, personal recommendation. And we look up blink of an eye. There it is. All right, here we go. Blink of an eye. And the blink of an eye is common. Okay. Noun 1, blink of an eye, a very short time, as the time it takes the eye to blink or the heart to beat. If I had the chance, I'd do it in a flash, maybe as a variation that they're giving us. An indefinitely short time. Wait a moment. In a mo, it only takes, okay, so it's trying to give us an idea for the blink of an eye from some examples, right? Okay, so can we get from this, right, a sense for what it means? Can we get from this a sense for the way to use this expression? I think so. I think it's pretty clear. It just means if it's an indefinite short time, right, that's going to be pretty straightforward, I think, right? Let's see if we can, let's look elsewhere. Let's just try Googling it. Let's say idiom, the blink of an eye, and see what we can come up with. So we're getting one from the Cambridge Dictionary. We're getting one from Collins Dictionary. Let's see which one has the best examples. And I would encourage you to browse around. Again, if you're not happy with what you find on any one of them, browse around and find one that gives you the clearest definition and perhaps the best examples. It's the examples on the free dictionary may be a little lacking for that. So, okay, here we are on Cambridge. In the blink of an eye, they can be mild or extremely severe and can move from one to the other in the blink of an eye. So this is just examples. They didn't even give us the definition for this, did they? In the blink of an eye, he was gone. Okay, they did give a definition, short in time. There you go. All right. Lots of examples here. Again, I'm on Cambridge Dictionary. Okay? But we should be ever mindful that in our information age, the media have the power to reach a constituency of millions in the blink of an eye. Okay, very straightforward. It happened so fast, and the resolve was in the blink of an eye. He said that the song becomes a modern love story in the blink of an eye because of it. All of those things can be gone in the blink of an eye. So we're getting a lot of definitions here pulled. So this is actually, the definition on the free dictionary was great, but the examples were not great, which is actually surprising to me, the blink of an eye. Let me see if they have the whole one, because I didn't put the in there. Let's see if they give me a better one. No, they don't. So this is a pretty rare thing on dictionary.com. It's pretty weird because normally oh, wait a minute, I'm on dictionary. Normally, I never even have to check to see if they have great examples because they always do. But here, oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Oh, the free dictionary let me down on examples. That's why we have other websites to check. All right, so good examples from Cambridge. Now let's go over to Collins. Let's see what Collins gives us. A bunch of ads. Great, love that. Okay, phrase, if you say something happens in the blink of an eye, you mean that it happens very quickly. It was all over in the blink of an eye. And here we actually get an audio. I'm not sure if they'll just play the audio for us for blink of an eye or the whole sentence.
It was all over in the blink of an eye.
Oh, they give us the whole thing. It was all over in the blink of an eye.
It was all over in the blink of an eye.
Nice. All right. Now let's see if they give us on Collins some examples. No examples really, other than it was all over in the blink of an eye. And that's about it. So limited on the free dictionary, limited on Collins, but Cambridge Dictionary really came through for us. And let's check good old vocabulary.com on this one and see what they can come up with. All right, blink of an eye. And here they do have more tools for remembering things. You might choose to use them, maybe not. It's up to you. You can add them to your list of words. It's fine if you want. Okay, now in a very short time, as in the time it takes the eye to blink or the heart to beat. That is exactly the same definition that we got from, I believe, the free dictionary, right? Which one did we get from free dictionary? Yeah. Oh, no, maybe that was the other one. Oh, wait a second. How have I suddenly found this? What's going on with the free dictionary? Now I have found it. I tried searching blink of an eye again. What did I do wrong the first time? Did I not put in dictionary? I think I know what I did wrong. A very short time, the time it takes for the eye to blink. I think I didn't click on idioms, the idioms tab. I should not have doubted you, the free dictionary. I'm so sorry. This is a little better here. We have at least a couple of examples. Okay, I'm so sorry for doubting the free dictionary because, again, I've never not been supplied great examples there before. Very quickly, in a very short period of time, usually used in the phrase in the blink of an eye. When we got into that car accident, our lives changed in the blink of an eye. Watch the baby closely. She can get into something dangerous in the blink of an eye. Both great examples. The free dictionary has come through at last. Hooray! Okay. Usage examples in vocabulary.com. I know I'm reading a lot of them, but this is the process of exploration, right? This is what we do. This is how we do it. It's just this process, kind of messy, kind of fuzzy. We're looking around different tabs, but once you're done with this process, it's burned into your brain, right? I went from learning about grandma to bar mitzvah lessons in the blink of an eye. Okay. They hear one of his songs, and in the blink of an eye, they think, wow, everything happened in the blink of an eye. For the muscles that brought movement. That's a weird one. She jumps up and hurries across the room, and in the blink of an eye, she's gone, leaving me with my jaw dangling. Okay, so some pretty good examples there. I don't really care which one of these you use. And in fact, if you don't find what you want in one, look elsewhere. That's the process. It's, again, kind of just a matter of if you want to Google it, if you want to look in a specific dictionary, if you find a dictionary that you like, that returns results that are good, that makes it clear to you, maybe stick with that one just for the sake of convenience. But go through this process that we just did, looking at meanings and looking at definitions. Here we can see pretty much we have one meaning and the usage is very quickly. And it might be used sometimes for a physical thing that happens, or we might talk about something emotional. But either way, it means quickly. Pretty straightforward. So what's the next step in the process? Now that we feel we understand what it means and how it's used, we go on to make a few examples ourselves. So original sentence, humans have only been around for 300,000 years, and the oldest living language, Tamil, is 5,000 years old. The blink of an eye on a nuclear time scale. Okay, so now we make a few examples. Okay, here are two examples. The first 10 years of my life seemed to go by in the blink of an eye. Didn't necessarily, unless we're talking about a nuclear timescale, but seemed to go by like that. Okay, so I can use it to talk about how it feels rather than how it was. And then my other example, in the blink of an eye, the coyotes had me surrounded. This is actually from personal experience. Last night, I wasn't actually surrounded. Last night, I was outside looking at the stars through my telescope. And I was looking at the moon actually. I heard, it was dark. I was scared. I banged on the door, dung, 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 to try to get in. The door, Mushroom unlocked the door. I ran in. And not long after that, a bunch of coyotes came into my backyard and they were barking and howling like crazy. A little scary. So I didn't actually get surrounded by coyotes, but in my imagination, that did happen. Okay? Now, what I'd like you to do, this is my challenge for you, okay? I want you to do the process we just did for the idiom under fire. I'm giving you the sentence, the discovery sentence, and now you need to take the next 2 steps. You need to play around on Google or use one of these dictionaries to find the meaning and look at the examples. And then you need to try to make a couple of your own and make sure you do memorize it or find a technique that allows you to memorize it so that when you need it, it's right there and you don't have to think about it or say, what the heck? And then say, finally, well, I forget. You don't want that to happen. You've got to really remember it. So here we go. The government will come under fire again when the latest employment figures are released. Okay, the government will come under fire again when the latest employment figures are released. So what does it mean for the government to be under fire? What the heck is that all about? Again, the cool thing about idioms, but also the difficult thing about idioms is that they are not easy to understand if you just see them by themselves, right? And you say, well, I think I can guess. I think I might know what it means. So that's part of it too, trying to guess, trying to figure it out from the context alone. Then you have to go look it up. Okay? Okay. Of course, if you want to learn the way that I told you not to learn with a giant list, you can. I did make 4 courses teaching expressions and idioms. Okay? You can check those out in the links in the description if you like. Those 4 courses cover 200, I believe it's 243 or maybe it's 253. I forget right now. That many idioms and expressions. We go over the meaning and how it's used with examples, and there's accompanying PDFs. Each one's like 7 hours long. So feel free to check those out if you want to learn that way. That's one way to do it. But again, the best way is to discover on your own because then it has that natural connection to you and to your life, okay? Let me know what examples you come up with. If you want to pop those in the comments, you can do that. Or if you would like to send them to me, if you'd like me to definitely take a look at them, put them in the challenge submissions section of the Discord. You can join the Discord. That is free. That's in the links in the description. Let me know how it goes. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And good luck.